Hello viewers, today we are going to be cleaning and servicing this Honeywell Turbo Fan. This is model HF810. It does run, but I'm not going to run it up again because there's all hair in it and that caused a freak show last time. So if you want to see it running prior to servicing, you can look at the initial checkout video. So let's just go ahead and get started here. I've never been inside one of these before, so I'm going to be kind of figuring this out as I go. But it would appear that there are copious amounts of screws outlining the thing. So we'll start by taking those out. Okay, all the screws are out. So I believe the guard is now free. Okay. So this is just going to get washed in the sink or the bathtub, whatever. Oh man, it's got one of those stupid things on there. I hate those things. They're so dumb. Really, the only way to get those off is to ruin them, which is stupid, but no other options. So I'm just gonna kind of pry this off here, and I know this is not a good use of a screwdriver, but quite frankly these stupid things aren't good use of material anyways. So I don't know why these, well, this is just part of a planned obsolescence thing as far as I can tell, because most people aren't going to sit here and go through this nonsense trying to get this off. So that's it. Now I'll pull this off. And you really don't even need this on it, that's why I'm not worried about it, because the blade, all the force from it running is exerted the blade this way, so it's not going to come off. Alright, now this has just turned into a pain. I think I broke it a little bit too much. Now I can't get it off. Okay, then we'll just toss this whole thing into the scrap metal pile because it's not worth anything to me. Okay, so now that's out of the way. I heard something fall. Did we get a screw that came out or something? Yeah, here it is. Alright, so let's see here. The blade is off. This looks like one of those Raider motors, so we'll see what that is when I get it off. Here's the blade. It's pretty good blade aerodynamics wise. Okay, put that in the pile lean. Okay, let's see. I would like if we could just remove all the electronics and wash the thing in the bathtub so we can get that washed. So I don't know how these switches work in terms of getting them off, because this is one of those weird push to turn ones. I mean, I would imagine it comes off. There we go. Alright, so that's cool. now I don't see why we can't just pull this out. Okay, that's good. So now the only thing that's going to hold this in place is the strain relief, which I'm not sure if that's the kind that we can easily take off or not. I have a feeling it's not, but we'll see what we can do. Because this is going to have to, I think it is possible to get those out. I believe what we have to do is just kind of push it through, as impossible as that sounds. Actually, that seems like it's going to happen relatively easily. Perfect. Okay. So now, what we can do is I can pull the cord through enough that I can keep the motor away from getting wet, and just wash this whole thing in bathroom. Because quite frankly, this is a molded plug, so if this gets wet, who cares? So let's undo the motor. Preferably not strip the screw. Good golly, these are long screws. Is that really necessary? Outrageous. You know, is there a better driver to do this with? I don't want this to strip out. Okay. We have an info tag on this? Nope. No information tag. So I'm going to guess that this is a Raider motor. Of course, there's no way to tell for sure because I ain't got a tag. It does appear like it has some kind of an oil port there. Can't really tell because there's so much dirt on there. Oh yeah, look at that. That is indeed an oil port. Well, that's good. I guess we don't have to go through the hassle of opening the motor because just oil it that way. That's good. Relief. Okay. This is going to be really easy to get this thing serviced. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this upstairs, just wash it out in the bathtub, and more hair, because there's nothing on here that would get damaged from water. It's all plastic, so we'll do that, and then we'll be back on the video. Alright, so unfortunately it was not just dust on here, it's like that sticky tobacco residue is all over this thing. So what's going to have to happen is I have to meticulously sit here and clean it out, with a brush or something else abrasive, and I just don't feel like doing that today. So this will have to get revisited in the future, but at least now it's clean enough to use, albeit visually it's slightly unappealing. There's a little bit of excess water left in here still. Apparently the base is not as waterproof as I had thought. It ended up filling with water as I cleaned it, so that was kind of interesting. But otherwise this thing is pretty easily serviced. So let's pull the cord back through. And I'll put this strain relief back in place. Or will we? Yeah, there we go. Okay. And for the motor, I'm not going to go crazy with this. We're just going to put some drops of oil in the port and on the shaft in the front. Ugh, making a mess. Okay, now we'll do the front. The spin down time on this was more than adequate originally, so I don't think this will be a problem. I don't think it needs to be taken apart and cleaned out and everything. Okay. There is some specks of dust here and there on this thing. I'm not doing a very thorough job because this does have to be revisited in the future, and we can be more meticulous about it then. Okay, now put the motor back in place. Oh, there's actually an oil port on the front of the motor too. I didn't see that. Now, even though I didn't take it apart, the motor, that seems to have manipulated the alignment of the bearings, undoing those screws, because it's not spinning very freely. If I recall correctly, the spin down time wasn't too bad. Let's see where we're at here with the blade on. That's about what it was before. Huh? Well, you know what, in that case, I may be corrected. I think this does actually need to get opened up and cleaned because there's more friction at high speed, so we'll have to we gotta do part 2 on this servicing, because this is whatever. If anybody knows the best way to get that tobacco residue off of these plastic fans, let me know in the comments box, because I don't know a whole lot of good ways of getting it off, and I encounter it, well, often enough that it would be nice to know an easy way to deal with it. Get these screws back in the base. Alright, so it's not as good as it should be. I have a feeling that the motor is probably not going to run at full speed because of that particular situation with the bearings being stiff. Probably because of oil is just getting old in there. Whatever. Anyways, plug it in, and at least we can do a better test run. Still a water leaking out of the base. Here's low. Medium. time. That doesn't sound too good. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a full service on this. So, yeah, this motor's acting kind of strange. Well, I guess that was kind of a failed servicing, and now my table is all wet. Oh well. Anyways, we'll have a part 2 on this one.